I have to congratulate Elon Musk on all of his success over the last month. It's been an incredible month for SpaceX. They brought a new crew back to Earth that they shot into space on the Capsule Dragon. They brought Crew 2 into space, 4 more astronauts from U.S. soil to the International Space Station. They released, I believe, 100 and something, maybe 120 satellites. Let me see, how many did I have it here? 120, I believe, more satellites into the sky, right? And most importantly, Starship 15 successfully took off and landed. It was a successful flight test. I'm so hyped on it. So congratulations, Elon. It's really incredible. So first, let's talk about the Crew 1. SpaceX NASA Crew 1 astronauts returned from the International Space Station. Very excited about it. You can see the absolute hype in this guy's voice or in his face. Look at this. Is it going to play?
On Resilience capsule.
From Resilience.
Okay, well, this is them splashing down early in the morning. It was one of the first late night splashdowns since the 60s. I think it was Apollo 8 was the last nighttime splashdown. Let's see. SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule soared back from outer space Sunday morning and made a parachute landing in the Gulf of Mexico, returning 4 astronauts from a record-setting mission to the International Space Station. The astronauts, NASA's Michael Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Soichi Noguchi, an astronaut with Japan's space agency, had boarded their Crew Dragon capsule Friday afternoon. They spent all night aboard the 13-foot-wide, fully autonomous capsule as it conducted a series of engine burns and maneuvers to prepare itself for re-entry. The spacecraft fired up its engines to slice back into Earth's thick inner atmosphere around 2 a.m. Eastern Time. The capsule deployed a series of billowing parachutes to slow its descent before splashing down off the coast of Panama City, Florida at 2:56 a.m. The astronauts' safe return marks the end of NASA and SpaceX landmark mission dubbed Crew 1, which set a record of the longest time in space, over 5 months, by a crew that launched aboard an American-built spacecraft. Very good, sir. Very good. This is only the second time SpaceX and NASA have ever brought astronauts home aboard a Crew Dragon spacecraft, following the historic return home of NASA astronauts Robert Behnken and I haven't said Robert Behnken, it's Bob Behnken, but we'll say Robert Behnken, and Douglas Hurley from SpaceX Demo 2 mission last August. And Behnken had described re-entry as the most gut-churning portion of the return trip. The spacecraft becomes extremely hot due to the friction of air molecules rubbing against its exterior through a thick heat shield will protect the astronauts inside as the vehicle roars towards its target. It doesn't sound like a machine, it sounds like an animal, Birkin told reporters last year. A brigade of recovery ships were waiting to haul the Crew Dragon out of the ocean, moving quickly because the bobbing waves can cause severe seasickness for the astronauts. When asked what meal he was looking forward to upon his return home, Hopkins acknowledged during the press conference Monday that he likely won't be feeling up to a gourmet meal. He says, "If I have an appetite, that's going to be a bonus." Glover made history with this mission. On top of it being his first flight to space, he became the first black person ever to hold a long-duration crew assignment on the International Space Station. Okay. One thing that did really profoundly impact me was the very first time I got out of the seat after our spacecraft was safely in orbit. I looked out the window and saw Earth from 250 miles up, Glover said during a remote press conference ahead of Saturday's splashdown. I will never forget that moment. It wasn't about the view, it was how the view made me feel. The Earth is amazing, and it's beautiful. It protects us, and we should work hard to protect it. I like that sentiment. I feel like more people need to feel what that is like, to see space from just a different perspective, I guess, you know? SpaceX Crew 2 launches astronauts to International Space Station. Now, this was April 23rd, so this was a couple weeks back. But still, that's what I'm saying. It's celebrating the past 60 day or month of SpaceX, making lots of moves. So this was a couple weeks back. With weather conditions clear, Elon Musk owned Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon capsule or spacecraft Endeavour launched from Florida's Kennedy Space Station 5:49 Eastern Time a.m. NASA astronauts Megan McArthur, Crew 2 Commander Shane Kimbrough, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Akihiko Ashide, and European Space Agency's astronaut Thomas Pesquet. Sorry if I butchered those names. I probably did, and I apologize in advance or post saying them terribly. Anyway, they were headed to the International Space Station. Glad to be back in space for all of us, Kimbrough radioed flight controllers after reaching orbit. Pre-dawn launches are always amazing. Steve Jerks. Sorry, I'm terrible at these unique names. NASA's acting administrator said during live coverage of the event, it was thrilling to see. Their stay aboard the International Space Station is slated to last for 6 months. Pardon me. The SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft, now traveling at thousands of miles per hour, is expected to dock at the International Space Station Saturday, which was, of course, 2 weeks ago because they successfully docked. And it was kind of cool. I did a little segment last week saying, how did they all sleep? They had 13 people staying in the International Space Station at one time. It was pretty cool. They were all staying in different spots, and they have little like camps set up for the people that don't have their own beds. They basically are camping in different areas. Okay, this is my favorite thing that they've done. SpaceX Starship prototype rocket SN-15 successfully lands after test flight. This is incredible. I thought yesterday I thought there was 4. Turns out there was 5 prototype rockets. This was the 5th. Elon Musk's SpaceX launched and then landed the latest prototype of its Starship rocket on Wednesday. The flight was the 5th high-altitude test of a Starship prototype and the first that ended up without the rocket destroyed. Musk's company is developing Starship to launch cargo and people on missions to the moon and Mars, and also just to get around the planet faster. No, they didn't really talk about that, but here's Elon Musk saying, Starship landing nominal. I know, it was very exciting. I think this is just okay, this is the whole flight, but I'm just going to jump to the part where they land because it's very incredible to see. Here it is right here. Come on. Full screen unavailable. Well, then I will zoom in on you. Ha ha ha.
To the landing zone.
There it is. I was so hyped when I started my episode yesterday because I was watching this live. I was like, yeah, the show, but give me a second because I'm watching this amazingness. And there they landed, and you can actually see there was a fire that started. You can kind of see it's almost like a piece of cloth that was on fire. I'm not sure what it was, but they were able to put the fire out, and everything turned out pretty great. So yeah, they're very excited about that. Earlier this month, NASA awarded SpaceX with nearly $3 billion contract to build a lunar variation of Starship to carry astronauts to the moon's surface for the agency's Artemis missions. However, while Musk's company continues to move forward with its Starship development, NASA suspended SpaceX work on the HLS program after Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and Leidos subsidiary Dynetics each filed protests of the NASA contract award. Why are you giving it to SpaceX and not us? Yeah, because they're making moves and it's working. It's embarrassing, Bezos. Would you just... But they get the contract. Sorry, I found that pretty hilarious. The SN-15 flight was similar to the ones SpaceX has conducted in this past 6 months, while the test flights of the prototype SN-8, SN-9, SN-10, and SN-11, while each of the prior rockets launched successfully and completed multiple development objectives, all 4 prototypes were explosively destroyed, SN-8 and SN-9 on impact during landing attempts, SN-10 a few minutes after landing, and SN-11 moments before its landing attempt. The Starship prototypes stand about 150 feet tall, or about the size of a 15-story building. Each one is powered by 3 Raptor rocket engines. built of stainless steel, it represents the early version of the rocket that Elon Musk unveiled in 2019. Look at that thing. That's the SN-15 standing proud in Boca Chica, Texas. SpaceX noted in a statement on its website that SN-15 features vehicle improvement across structures, avionics, and software compared to the prior Starship prototypes. Specifically, a new enhanced avionics suite, updated propellant architecture in the aft skirt, and a new Raptor engine design and configuration, SpaceX said. The Federal Avionics Administration, which has an inspector at SpaceX's facility to observe the test flights, conducted a mishap investigation of the SN-11 flight. Last week, the FAA announced the authorization of the next 3 Starship launches, SN-15, 16, and SN-16. Wait, SN-16, they must be saying SN-17 there because they said it twice, saying it will verify that SpaceX implemented corrective actions arising from the SN-11 mishap investigation. The FAA authorized multiple launches at once because SpaceX is making few changes to the launch vehicle and relied on the FAA's approved methodology to calculate the risk to the public, which is really good because I hear that SpaceX was dealing with a lot of the FAA's, I don't know, they were trying to launch rockets. The FAA was like, no, you got to like adhere to these rules, whatever. And they finally reached, obviously they reached some sort of something, whatever. I'm not using my brain today. I seem to be, I didn't have enough coffee, I think. Anyway, check this out. SpaceX Starlight satellites, not UFOs, spotted in the night sky over Washington State. So not only are they putting satellites in the sky, people are thinking they're UFOs. And it's causing a hysteria. Look at all these different tweets of people just, oh my gosh, it's a UFO. It's a line of Starlight satellites, in fact, that people are thinking are UFOs, but they're in fact not. But I got to give it up to Starlink because it's pretty cool. I did a couple tests. I picked a remote location, really far from anywhere, entered in the address. Can I get Starlink here? Yes, you can. And it's like, oh, wow. They really are doing a great job of getting internet to these places that don't have internet. It's pretty great. It's pretty cool. I got to give it up to Starlink because they are trying to bring internet to rural locations that have no internet. This gigabit internet that Tim installed in this house was incredibly expensive because nobody around here has the internet, so they had to run a line specifically for this house. I'll miss it when I'm gone, the insane internet. But Starlink is actually claiming that you can get up to 10 gigabit downs. 10 gigs. That's insane. Like 1 gigabit internet is amazing. That's what I'm on right now. We get like, 900 up, 900 down, which is just bonkers. It's great, let me tell you. It's fantastic internet, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. But imagine 10 gigabits down anywhere on the planet. Well, I say anywhere, but any area that's, I guess, inhabited by humans. So it's pretty cool. Pretty excited about it. I don't know anyone personally that has Starlink right now because it's still in the beta phase. But if I do end up in an area where I don't have internet, I know I'll be trying to get Starlink for it because I believe Elon Musk is going to follow through with what he says he's going to do. Look at him with Falcon 9, just Falcon 9 itself, a reusable rocket, constantly 9 flights. That's amazing.